Danny Flexent here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined, easy for me to say, by my good friend and Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren. Frank, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Dan. What about you, mate?
I'm good. Always nice to get out to London. Big press conference today for one of the supporting fights on the Fury and Ngannou card out in Saudi Arabia, but one that's captured a lot of attention, Fabio Wardley, David Adeleye. A lot of controversy about the brawl that took place at the red carpet event. Do you think that's helped to generate more interest in this?
Well, those things normally do. I don't like them because we're very lucky the fight's on. That cut had been on his eye or whatever, definitely would have been off the fight. He wouldn't have been able to fight. He was lucky the cut was there, or unlucky it was there. But no, I don't like that. But yeah, of course it's created a bit more controversy, there's no doubt about it. But you know, the winner of this fight is going to get tremendous amount of publicity and be seen around the world. This card that's on here, the main event, the response to it's been phenomenal around the world. I think one of the promos that went out within 2 days, 152 million people had hit and watched it. So it's the main support bout. So everyone's going to know who the British and Commonwealth champion is on the night.
I spoke to Fabio earlier. He said it's been a pleasure working with Queensberry Promotions and he hopes you can get some more fights done in the future. Is this a case of kind of arrive with the champion, leave with the champion regardless?
No, look, David's with us. Whoever, you know, David wins this fight, it's not a problem. If he loses this fight, we're with him. And if Fabio wants to stay with us, we're in the business of putting on fights. We're very blessed in the heavyweight division. We've got some real good fighters there, so there's some fights to be made. It's not the end of the world for whoever loses a fight, not at all.
And the main event is, of course, Fury and Ngannou, but apart from Jack McCann's fight, it's an all-heavyweight attraction. It was announced this week it's going to be on TNT Sports, not a massive surprise. Box office, I think it's $21.95. Before I talk to you about that, how much input, if any, do Queensberry have on the price setting for those sort of events?
None.
So, do you think it's a fair price in that case?
What did they charge?
I think it's... I'd have to check. I think it was less, but yeah, I mean, that's comparing... Yeah, maybe about 5 or less.
It wasn't, was it?
No, was it 20, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so only a couple of quid less.
Irrespective of that, look, he's the he's the world heavyweight champion. He's a lineal champion, fighting a guy who's the best in his discipline from UFC. They're two big, massive sports, UFC and boxing. Of course, people don't want to pay anything for it. You know, if you pay one penny for it, they don't want to pay it. And I get that and I understand that, but the price is set and it's really simple. You either watch it or you don't watch it. That's your choice, it's your money. Do what you want to do with it.
But do you think it represents value for money? It's quite a stacked card.
That's a great card. It's a great heavyweight card, and the fight is very, very intriguing. And it's what it leads to, the fight, which is what everybody's been working towards. It's what it leads to. And, you know, I think this is going to be the first of many, many big shows that come back from Riyadh, and certainly the Riyadh Festival.
You talked about what it leads to. That is, of course, the undisputed fight, first ever heavyweight, 4-belt era undisputed fight between Fury and Alexander Usyk, finally over the line. Any more progress on dates and venues?
No, none at all. That will all, in due course, come out, providing Tyson comes through and nothing happens to postpone it.
How confident are you that he will come through, and will we see Usyk on fight week?
I'm confident, very confident of Tyson in any of these fights. You know, I think he's the best heavyweight on the planet. I think anybody who gets in the ring with him, and I mean anybody, I think they'll come second to him at the moment. He's in with a guy who's got nothing to lose, zero to lose, not a thing. There's a lot of pressure on Tyson because it's announced the other fight was signed because we had to put the contracts in. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been announced. But it's signed, the pressure's on him, and he knows he's got a guy in there, as I've just said, has nothing to lose. The one thing he can do, he can punch. He comes from a fighting background. He's tough, he's rugged. And to win the fight, he ain't going to outbox Tyson. I can't see that in a million years. What is he going to have to do to beat Tyson? He's going to put him out his stride. He's going to have to rough Tyson up, and then he's going to try and land his bombs on it. So whilst it lasts, it'll be exciting.
And we know Anthony Joshua is still apparently looking for an opponent for later this year or early next year. Are you putting forward any of your boys, Dubois, Joyce perhaps?
If he wants to fight, he knows, you know, we haven't got a problem. I mean, we've offered over the last, 18 months or so, those guys, they're ready to fight him. If he wants to do the fight, not a problem.
Do you think that's likely? I mean, working with Matchroom or working with Joshua?
Anything's likely, isn't it? I mean, I am. If you're a promoter, you've got to be an optimist, and I'm an optimist. And I look how all the world keeps doing. Every day is turning, and you're up, and you're down. It's dark, and then it's light, and that's what happens in this business. 1 minute you're up, and then you're down, and then you're up, and it's all about have you got the staying power. Have you got the wherewithal? Have you got the resources, the people, the team around you that you can bring through the stars? And that's what we've done for years and years and years and years and years.
With that in mind, what would Joshua's career have looked like under Queensberry?
I don't know. I mean, I'm quite sure he'd have won a world title had he been West, but he chose. It was a period. It was a moment in time, wasn't it? He won the Olympics, and Sky were going to be out of boxing. They were back into boxing, and he was, he ticked all the boxes, didn't he? He ticked the boxes. Gold medal, won in London, and they put massive resources behind him, publicity machine, and it all worked for him. And it was great for him. It was great for Sky, and it was great for boxing because people were coming out and watching him and seeing him fight, and they were getting great attendances. So it was all good.
And still the biggest star now in the UK, in your view, and still. No?
It's Tyson by far. Tyson's the biggest star in. I think it's out of him and Alvarez who's the biggest star, and I've got to be honest, I think it's Tyson because Tyson's is worldwide. Canelo's a niche in other countries. I'm just not being disrespectful. He's huge in America, don't get me wrong, and he makes fortunes, and quite rightly so. But you look in other countries around the world, I think Tyson has a bigger audience, and he certainly will after this fight, that's for sure.
There's been some speculation about the IBF title becoming vacant potentially after Fury, Usyk. Filip Hrgović and Otto Wallin have been talked about as the top two contenders, number one and number two with the IBF, knocking Anthony Joshua down to number three, unfortunately for him. So a quick twofold question. Who have you got out of Hrgović and Wallin winning that fight? And do you think Anthony Joshua ever regains a version of the world title?
Look, that's too far down the line for me because at the moment we've got a very important date on the 28th, and that's the one to focus on. I don't want no cock-ups on there. I don't think things are going wrong. And if Tyson comes through it and he's unscathed, then we can hopefully be in a position to announce the fight that's signed. But to be talking the fight after that is a bit down the road for us, so I'm not sure. As a fan, who would win out of Wallin and Hrgović? I don't think there's anything in it. And Anthony Joshua, well, he had an opportunity to fight, two opportunities in the last 12 months to fight Tyson, and he turned them down.
But in your view, he'd lose those fights to Tyson, so...
If you want to fight for a world title, you fight the champion.
Oh, no, I'm not criticising, but what I mean is...
The previous champion beat him twice, so now he's got to fight a guy... He could have fought a guy who had another version of the title, and he chose not to do so. So where is his head? I don't want to fight for a world title.
Do you see him ever regaining a version of the world title, maybe from someone that's not Fury or Usyk?
I know anything can happen in boxing, but for me, I genuinely think we've seen the best of him. But I may be wrong, and I do hope I am wrong, but I do think we've seen the best of him.
Now, you corrected me a bit earlier on the price for the crossover. You probably are, because you paid for it, so you should know a bit better than me. Yeah, you let someone else take care of the finances. But not just what did you make of it, what do you think, if anything, traditional boxing can learn from them, maybe in terms of marketing or the fan base or something?
As from a fight point of view, zero. I mean, those guys wouldn't win. They're fellas who are, ladies and fellas who are who've got a lot of notoriety through the internet or social media and so forth. And good luck to them, like I've said all along. They can get some money out of it, as long as there's not, it's medically supervised and they're fit enough to box. Get it, understand that. Got involved in one of those fights with Jake Paul and Tommy in Dubai. That fight was made there, which we helped put together. That was good for Tommy. It was a great opportunity for him. He earned a lot of money from it, far more money than he learned from boxing at this stage of his career. And the same thing for this fight that's just gone. For Tommy, he's the boss of all of it, and he's making fortunes out of it. And I would think if you're a really good up and coming young boxer who's worked through the system as an amateur, maybe won an ABA, gone to Olympics or World Championships, and you're thinking, how much are they getting? And I'm only getting this. I'd be pretty upset because they are proper, trained boxers. These guys are training as fighters, but the quality, and how somebody the other week, one of the journalists was saying that Border Control should licence him, must be off their head. How could you licence these guys? They wouldn't win amateur fights.
But
I'm not knocking them. Good luck to them. And they have these followings. These kids, they go there, these youngsters who follow them, they're obviously very interested. From the first fight to the last, they don't get up.
Can you learn from that then? Can you, generate in traditional boxing the same sort of loyalty and kids getting into it in the same way?
But you've got to remember, what is their notoriety about on the internet or on social media? It's pranksters and doing things. The fighters have got to train, they haven't got time for that. What they've done, they've had a career on social media and still have a career, and this is like a bit of white collar. This is like, I'm fighting, I work in a bank, I'm fighting the fella from the bank across the road. That's all it is. It's nothing more than that, is it? How many of those guys would make it as a pro? A couple of them might. A couple of them would do relatively okay at a certain level. Wouldn't be at the top level, that's for sure, but at a certain level. And as I say, what I see on Saturday was, I've got to just be honest about it. It was piss poor.
And just finally, a lot of people have criticised Tommy perhaps for fighting down to the level of his opposition in that world. But you sound like you're quite proud of him and what he's achieving.
Look, he's found a niche. He's gone there. He won't be earning this money in professional boxing. It'd be impossible for him to earn it. To get earn the type of money he'd earn there, he'd have to go and fight. He'd have to fight in a massive, big world title fight, and that's a long trek for him to get to that stage. He's shortcut it, and he's making big money. You're getting hit. Your head doesn't determine whether it's Misfits, Queensberry Promotions, Matchroom, or anything. So good luck to him for the money that he's getting. And if people buy into it, that's up to them. It's their money, it's their hard-earned cash. How they want to spend it is entirely up to them.
Brilliant. Frank, really appreciate it. Cheers, mate. That was really good.